You are being loyal to a version of yourself that died 3 years ago. And this is an interesting concept to approach because obviously we are forever evolving. And in order to continue to evolve and continue to step into the version of ourselves that we want to and continue to change our habits, we cannot continue to show up for the current version of ourselves that we are performing and that we are operating at. And through this process, it's really important that we meet ourselves in a place of compassion through this shift, because it's really easy to look at all of our bad habits, because a lot of times it's not that we lack information, like we don't understand our patterns or we don't understand our bad habits. Most of the time we know these bad habits that we have, and we know the actions that we are taking that are obviously bringing us to the position that we are currently in. And the longer that we put off changing these things, obviously the longer it's going to take for us to evolve, and then the harder we are on ourselves, because we're almost just running laps in our head on this is the issue and this is what we need to do to fix it, instead of just being like, I see this that I want to change because the highest version of myself would not operate like this. Or I see this habit that I'm doing or this environment that I'm in, and the version of myself that I want to step into wouldn't be operating in this environment, wouldn't be surrounding myself with these type of people, wouldn't be continuing to do this habit and continue this pattern that I know is bringing me back to this current version of myself. And it's tough to be present while also giving yourself permission to evolve, because again, this evolution of changing our patterns and continuing to evolve into the person that we want to become, it is a forever thing. And just as amazing as it is to romanticize the life that we want and the version of ourselves that we want to be, it's very easy to get stuck in that loop of romanticism and aesthetics. Your nervous system will continue to create this life because it has memorized what it considers a safe home, and it finds safe habitation in all of these habits, in all of these patterns, in all of these people that we continue to go back to, in all of these conversations of gossip that feel familiar because we've just done it our whole lives. And this process of forever shifting is so tough. And I think a lot of people, at least for me, I hit a point in my journey where you realize that you have to be alone. You have to be by yourself to actually understand what is going on the inside and why you actually have some of these patterns in the first place, so that you can then actually give yourself permission to let it go. And sometimes it's just give yourself permission to observe these things and not necessarily have to label them as a positive thing or a negative thing, because that in itself then becomes a cycle. It's one thing to identify a bad habit and be like, okay, I want to change this bad habit. And if you're not ready to change that habit, that is okay as well. But also realize that the identity that you want to step into, the life that you want to acquire, is going to be on the other side of that harder thing. And there's not one right or wrong answer, because we do not all take the same path. One right answer for one individual, the right answer for me is going to be a very different right answer for you. And there might be a right answer that you have that would be a very wrong answer for me, when I'm operating in alignment with who I am right now and the person that I want to become. My operation of alignment is going to be very different than your operation of alignment. And this is just another loop that almost gives us permission to not go inside and again go and look externally and try to find external validation for holes that we feel that we need to fill on the inside, because we love to collect information. And with social media nowadays and all of this information and all of these billboards, and you can find any answer at any time, and you have access to a therapist because we have ChatGPT and we can ask it anything and it will tell us how to live our lives. We forget that we have creative operation in our own head. We have the ability to create the life that we want, not ChatGPT telling us how to operate our emotions. We love to put a pretty label on things because it makes us feel better on the inside that we can label someone else, that we can label ourselves, that we can tag these behaviors. For what? So we can always be in this constant state of, okay, let me shift and let me do better and let me fix and let me seek to get a better opinion and let me journal more and I'm not saying don't journal more and don't do your breath work and don't meditate and don't seek advice. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm just saying make sure that you don't use that as a distraction to not actually sit with yourself and be like, okay, what method of operation has brought me to this point? And now where do I actually want to go? And now what current habits and patterns am I performing that the identity I want to step into would not be doing? And we know these things. We do not need to go and look for advice and go and look for more information. We know what we need to change. We just try to fill, again, those empty holes with a bunch of information so we don't actually have to get specific. Because when you get specific on what you want and what's been keeping you in your current method of operation, you realize that most of the things is not something that you need to learn. Most of the times these are things that you actually need to unlearn. Meeting yourself in that space where you can have compassion versus showing up for yourself in a place where you feel like you constantly have to abandon yourself. So make sure that you allow people to come and step into that space and be with you in that space, but you don't use other people as an interruption to not actually face those things that are going on inside of you. So thank you for spending 10 minutes with me this morning, and I will see you all tomorrow. Remember, the current version of yourself kept you alive long enough for you to be here. So kiss her on the forehead, but don't allow her to run the rest of your life.